Run it back, Philly. No frauds, no fanboys, no intros. Speaking of frauds.
This is brought to you by DraftKings. If you want to get into sports betting, you can click the link in the description right now. Bet $5, just $200 in free bets. Bam, there you go. Now you got $200 in free bets to bet on whatever you want. So if you've been hesitant to get into sports betting, this is probably the best opportunity for you to get $200 worth of free bets by just putting up $5. Gambling problem, call 1-800-GAMBLER. Not valid in all states. Let's go! I guess you segued right into the defensive topic. Speaking of Johnathan Gannon, I've been on his ass on my YouTube channel. I was on last season, and then the Lions game comes around, and I just see very just conservative cushion, just giving guys 7 yards off the line of scrimmage, and,
Exactly.
and it just looked like. What are we doing here? Why are we doing this? We gave you now all these weapons. We're like, finally Howie Roseman, who was for some reason anti-linebacker for 5 straight years, finally gives you a whole team of linebackers. I mean, I don't even think Kazir White's name is brought up enough. I think that dude's phenomenal. And Hassan Reddick and Nakobe Dean, who he hasn't really used yet, but he gave you a bunch of linebackers. Jordan Davis adds to the defensive line. Brandon Graham comes back. I'm just, Darius Slay, Bradbury. He gets the safety from the Saints, Gardner Johnson, and I'm like, he gave you all these weapons. At the Detroit game, I didn't see anything happening on the defensive side of the ball. What do you think was different, I guess, against Minnesota? Did Johnathan Gannon switch something up, or did what he normally does just work against Minnesota?
So, I love it what you're just saying there. For me, it was like, this is how I felt week one. I spent, bro, and when I tell you, I made like at least 4 or 5 different multiple ones where I created graphics where it shows like how they're like lining up, showing the odd fronts, the even fronts, all the different, schemes you were going to see. And because I kept saying, we're going to switch defense. I'm like, no, we're not. We ran that defense last year. We just didn't have the right personnel. So we talked about adding a nose tackle, a Sam linebacker, all these things. So for me, Howie had to go do that. And he literally did all of it and then some. It was like, wait, he really got Bradbury, Gardner Johnson, Kaiser White, Nakobe Dean, all the guys you mentioned there, dude. And it was like, okay, so now there's no excuse for you. So we go out in that first half. Now they started running the ball pretty well against us, except for when Jordan Davis was in there, 2.9 yards per carry, when he wasn't 10 yards per carry. So he starts running all over the place. And that we did hold them to 7 by half. I was like, okay. But then, like you said, playing 7 yards off, you're getting soft in the second half. Dude, this is the NFL. What? You didn't learn anything last year? So I said after that game, I said, I'm furious because I just spent months talking about, oh, yeah, you're going to run this scheme. You're going to do this. But the thing about it is you never know which week. Now we can try to pinpoint, and that's what I do throughout the week, breaking it down, what defense can stop this offense that this team is running. What are we going to be running on offense to go against their defense? That's the kind of things, I try to do. And, the first week, it's like, look, I understand each week they're going off of, what matchups are, and they don't feel Davis or Dean are ready yet. And I get it, because one of the things, my excitement of, hitting the lottery, essentially getting all the players I wanted was we still have to be patient. Let's not, I still think we're a contender. Has to go as I still think it does. It didn't happen yet, so let's just be patient. Let's not, stomp on everyone's face, and I will rub it in people's faces when, it hurts the words, and then I see them post about oh yeah, I never said, and I'm like, oh, F you, dude, because look at you were a man right there, and you're like, hey, I was skeptical, and that's okay, because we're all very skeptical at times, and trust me, 10 years ago, I was skeptical of everything. I'd be like, F this guy, he threw an incompletion, and just a little wild, but I think that Johnathan Gannon this week was like, okay, I'm not taking, the pedal, I'm taking the pedal to the metal. I'm not taking it off. And I think what you had to do is, we talked about it, there needs to be every effing scheme thrown out at them. So what you saw was the cover 0, the cover 1, which you're getting man coverage on Justin Jefferson, which is insane. Darius Slay proving he's one of the top cornerbacks in the game. And then you saw a lot of the cover 2, you saw cover 4 or cover 3 even, you saw cover 4, and you saw cover 6. And I talk a lot about the cover 6 because that penny formation I really love. That's my bread and butter. You've got 5 linemen essentially. You've got your nose tackle, 2 defensive tackles, and then 2 edge rushers. And yeah, we've got, you got Davis, Hargrave, Cox, Sweat, Reddick. Let's go, man. And then, Kaiser White, TJ Edwards back there is that one linebacker. And then 5 defensive backs. And I thought a lot of times in certain situations when that was used in third down, you're playing essentially a quarter, half where, there's a guy with a quarter of the field for anyone who doesn't understand that. And then half of the field is, and you're doing the quarter on the side Jefferson's on, so you're doing everything you possibly can, or based on, their formation, everything like that. So I think for me, Johnathan Gannon finally got his head out of his ass, because it's like, dude, I just literally bought, it's like taking my kid out and we go to the grocery store and I just bought him 16 things, every single piece of food that he wanted, sit there for an hour. I make every single piece of food. And he's like, this is not what I wanted. I'm going to go ahead and just grab that banana over there. And that's what I'm going to use instead. And it's like, but you have all this stuff. And I literally spent all that time. And now I would never freak out my kid like that about food, but he's not 5 years old anymore. But just to use an analogy, it was like, what are you doing, dude? So I think he thought, oh, it's the Lions, they have 7 points, F them, it's Jared Goff, which, okay, fair enough. But you can't do that. And I think I literally said it because my brother at halftime, being the negative Nancy, he's like, oh yeah, well, it was 24-7 last week too. And I was like, well, what did I say last week? You need to learn from this. So this time at halftime, we're choke slamming somebody through a table, getting pissed off, and we're finishing the game. So we didn't score again or anything like that, but the defense, dude, beautiful game. I can't. It was so amazing to see that game. What did they have? 193 yards total or something. It was something bad. Yeah. They didn't even have a pass play over like 19 yards. Like, what, dude? What? More pressure, though. Reddick and a lot of people, and look, I understand it. Reddick, Patrick Johnson, they're like, why are they dropping in coverage? But my point of breaking down those schemes, some of those schemes, they need a Sam linebacker. And sometimes, and we're only talking 3-4 times a game, that guy's going to drop into coverage. Now, a good quarterback's going to eat that alive if you're not playing well. I've seen Reddick and Johnson both struggle, Patrick, that is. And I get it, but they're learning this system. And look, it was here last year, but these guys fit what is actually supposed to be happening. So they're doing things they weren't supposed to. But I think Reddick, get him after that quarterback more, find him ways. And I think he will. He has been the poor dude. He's got such great talent, but he was a middle linebacker. Then he was a defensive end. Now he's a Sam linebacker, all completely different roles. And it's like, I think the kid's going to feast. Unfortunately, he was limited today, but I think he'll be all right. And I think he's going to get his this week. I think seeing him smash Carson Wentz, dude, that would be beautiful, man. I'd love to see him get a sack this week.
That would be amazing. You brought up Jordan Davis a little bit. I was really excited, obviously, when we drafted him and leading one of the best college defenses of all time, and just the sheer size of the man, the fact that I feel like there's not a whole lot of human beings in the world that can block him one-on-one. So, you said we need to be patient, and that's something that I think like I said earlier with the Jalen Hurts stuff, that's something that I'm slowly learning to hold my overreactions. When we started 0-5 against the Lions, I was like, I'm not tweeting anything. I'm not doing it. I'm holding my thoughts in. I'm being, and so, yeah, I've been overreactionary my whole life, and I'm just doing YouTube and stuff. I'm slowly learning to just maybe chill out, maybe wait 3 or 4 weeks, or whatever. But so the Jordan Davis thing, I was ready week 1, like, put this guy on the field. I want to see him break through 2 blocks and smash somebody. And Gannon's been patient with him, but like you said, when he was on the field, 2.9, yards per carry for the other team. Do you think is it a conditioning thing with Jordan Davis? He wasn't an every down defensive tackle at Georgia, right? So do you think that's mainly what it is?
I think I was going to say to you, guilty, because you were saying I just wanted to see him right away, right in there. And, that was my point of saying, like, I spent all offseason showing you why a nose tackle, why a real Sam linebacker, not Jannard Avery, and Hassan Reddick specifically for that skill set. And it was like, Jordan Davis was the dream pick for me. I couldn't stress enough why, if you're going to run these odd fronts, you need to have a nose tackle. Now, you can run certain ones that you're like are in certain situations. It's all about situational football. And, that's okay, but you need that big guy. You need that 2-gap monster. And that's Jordan Davis. So I was like, we have to get him with one of those first round picks. We have to do that, dude. And we got him. I was like, okay, so this dude's going to be it. But I had to call myself out on that first week, because I was like, all right, dude, what did you say? Because we got to be patient, because especially with the young guys, because it's awesome, especially Nakobe Dean. In Nakobe Dean's instance, look how great TJ Edwards has been playing. Had a great pass breakup, or tackle for loss. And you look at
He's
Kaiser
been all over the
White.
field, man.
Yep. And Kaiser White was my guy. I wanted desperately. I literally said, you have to get Devin Lloyd or Nakobe Dean and grab Kaiser White in free agency. That will make Eagles fans the happiest they've ever been, because you said it earlier. Like how he hates linebackers, I don't know. But Kaiser White, obviously from Philly. So it's like, well, the Jersey area, you get it. But it's like, this dude, he plays with that Philly toughness. And when we got him, I was like, okay, this might be like one of the, and then they just kept topping it. I was like, Howie, but Kaiser White, man, him and Edwards both look great out there. So it's like, look, Nakobe, keep doing what you got to do, buddy. Play on special teams, putting on some muscle, getting smarter, better. And I think he's going to be a huge part of this future. Him and Kaiser White, TJ Edwards, you can use them all different situations. So excited there. But Jordan Davis, you're the nose tackle, baby. So when you see them running all over you, that's when you put him in the game. So maybe that week one, they were like, look, it's his first game. We don't want to throw him in the fire just yet. But I mean, he only played 22 snaps out of 69, right? So it was like, what? And then you come back, and I think he played 21. I'm not sure how many snaps total we had on offense.
I didn't see him any more than I saw in the week.
But it was like 30% again. So they're easing him into it. And the way we were playing yesterday, that was, you didn't want him in. The, formations were in, the schemes we're playing because of them being in pass mode, one-dimensional football. Hey, hell yeah, you stop. Dalvin Cook had, 17 yards yesterday? Justin Jefferson, 48. Like, that's pretty awesome. And, yeah, Thielen got garbage time, so he had 52 at the end. But it's like, dude, I can't believe what happened. But Jordan Davis, man, I think in games where the script is more run heavy, I think you'll definitely see him out there. Maybe not so much next week either. They'll probably be dumping it off a lot to those backs. I think, we're going to create a lot of pressure. Hopefully we're going to finally, I'm putting it out there, putting that good juju. And then you got the Jags the next week. Maybe they'll try to pound it, so you've got James Robinson and Etienne there, so maybe they will, and maybe you'll see more of it there. But I think he's going to grow into that, and you're going to see him by midway through the year. He'll finally be getting, like 60. And I don't even think the kid needs to play more than that, because it's situational football. But the havoc he wreaks, and the fact that it doesn't matter if it's run or pass. The fact that people are like, oh no, you don't want him in it. It's like, no, you do, because when he's in the zero technique or one technique right in front of the center or on the side of the guard, whatever he's doing, two-gap football. He's taking up two gaps, okay? Taking 2-3 people for anyone that didn't get that. And like, running back, my man here just said, dude, I wanted to see him just out there right away, eating people alive, right? So I'm trying to be patient like I was with Hurts here. But, dude, how exciting is it? Because it's just how he not only killed it right here, got like the stud wide receiver to go with Devontae. I mean, all of these things to find out if Hurts is the guy, the defense is Gannon the guy. So all these questions we needed to answer. It's like, okay, let's find out right now. It's like, oh shit. And next year, if Hurts continues to play like this, just imagine we go draft a corner, we draft an edge rusher, and we got 2 first-round picks. The next year, you've got 2 second-round picks. And it's like, is this really happening? I think it is. And I think something special is brewing here in Philadelphia, man.